Hey guys, my name's Khadroth, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the upcoming summer event on NA. Now, a lot of people have obviously been waiting for this event all year long to, roll for the units that they've absolutely been craving, and I think at this point we pretty much had the conclusion that the event will be coming to us here basically on the 18th. This is already announced, so it's in our best interest to go ahead and get you guys prepped for the upcoming banners and the event at hand. Now, the summer event for this year is actually sort of a redux of one of the prior Servant Summer Fests, which is going to be Summer 3, but you may be tempted to think that everything here is the exact same, and it's not. There's actually a lot of stuff different, including some interesting things about the story. I'm not going to get into too much just for spoiler reasons, but again, this event will be coming to us basically next Friday, sometime early in the morning that day. It should be about 4 a.m. for East Coasters, about 1 a.m. for West Coasters here in NA. And we do know, again, that this was kind of predicted due to the roadmap that they released at Anniversary. So we know that the Wangina event is coming early September. So we still have this kind of anywhere from like 2 to 3 week shift earlier in the schedule here, probably to make room for things like, new like back to school campaigns, and as well the Thanksgiving campaign that NA usually has that's unique to them. Now, taking a look at that, again, you guys can see here from the list of things we're currently in the midst of the Servant Strengthenings and Anniversary campaign here, as NA just celebrated that. But like we said, pretty much right on the back end of it, we are going to end up getting summer. With that in mind, this summer event is going to be an interesting one. It is basically a Fuyuki required event. It is going to be a 3-week long event, so there's not too much we have to worry about in that regard. Should be a pretty nice, chill affair, but there are going to be some unique mechanics with regards to this one. So just briefly kind of looking through, obviously we've got a whole bunch of new and hotly desired summer units that are going to be available, as well as some new male costumes being added in addition. But we're also going to have a new Mystic Code, and just kind of starting things off with that, our new Mystic Code is going to be called Summer Street. It is literally summer street wear. So you guys can see it's a pretty summer casual, almost as if you're going to the beach or generally around the beach, maybe going shopping or something like that is the aesthetic here. But the interesting part about this Mystic Code is going to be not only that it's another Arts Up type of Mystic Code, but also that it has 20% charge baked into it. And the good news is it's split into two 10% increments. That gives you a whole lot of control for how you want to operate things. It does manage to have hard survivability and arts card star absorption, so it is a really, really nice one in general capability for allowing and facilitating sort of any amount of scenarios that you can imagine. The issue at play here, though, is that compared to maybe some other Mystic Codes, offensively, this might not be the strongest Mystic Code for some people. If you're just looking for like one-shot damage, this one might not be for you. It's 30% arts up at its maximum level and 30% crit damage up. So it's a little bit more maybe crit focused than some of the other Mystic Codes, but you still have that nice 30% steroid, so it's still worthy of attention, especially if you need the 20% charge, which, like we mentioned before, compared to something like, say, the Mages Association Mystic Code that doesn't have any sort of offensive capability baked into it other than maybe its card shuffle, this Mystic Code is much more of a traditional Mystic Code in that sense. It does have the offensive firepower, it does also have hard survivability on it, and it still manages to have a lot of nice features like the split charge. So I think this one's a really good one. You're not going to want to miss it. To my knowledge, I'm not sure this one's achievable even yet on JP since its release. And again, we are going to have various other new craft essences at play in the event, including the event craft essence that is going to give you starting charge, arts and buster up of 10%, and a damage cut of 200. This one's not going to be the best in terms of leveling prospects, as it is a split stat CE, but it will be really nice during the event, as again, like we said, it has basically multiple steroids for you, as well as starting charge, Plus, it's actually going to allow you to have some scalability with regards to the event bonuses in respect to the Dojin circles, which are going to be the primary gimmick of this event this time around. So basically, we are going to end up getting multiple like Dojin circles that are going to come in and be at play here. We're still going to have a main story that's going to kind of release over time. It will be a little bit time gated on the front end, but once those gates are gone, you guys can feel free to do them at your own pace. We will also get Welfare Nocnaria during this event, and she's another fantastic Welfare as she is AoE arts and a foreigner. The issue at play here is she kind of really wants to be used alongside Castoria due to the mechanics at play with her. Feel free to check out any of my videos on the upcoming servants, and we will certainly cover all of that for you guys in those. But it's going to be pretty similar in terms of the theming to the Luluhawa event in Summer 3. But like we said, it's going to have those Dojin circles. And this time around, our goal is going to be to level up multiple Dojin circles, not just kind of go with one. How we're going to level those up is we are going to do our free quest. That's going to get us currency for not only the shops, but also sort of Dojin circle currency. And we're going to be using those to actually spend and level the Dojin circles via delivery quests. Those delivery quests are, again, like I said, going to level up the Dojin circle, going to get you more benefits, more buffs from them, as some of these will be really, really nice. It's going to be kind of a similar mechanic that we've seen in other events where you get like card type ups that scale as you progress through the event. This one's just not going to be done via a like point ladder or anything. In fact, this event is actually a mission-based event, unlike the prior summer. This one's going to be a little bit easier. However, unlike other mission events, this one's only a 30 mission event, so not too bad in that regard. We'll go over some of those rewards here in a bit. But yes, Nocnaria is going to be your welfare. You're going to have these Dojin circles that you need to level, and in doing so, you will unlock, again, additional buffs as well as certain Dojin CEs for you, and some of them are absolutely beautiful. They have some fantastic artwork at play for you guys, and so I do recommend doing them not just for the fun nature of the quest, but also just to collect these drawings, these Dojins for yourself. Now, as we progress through the event, naturally, we're going to have a couple of other things to consider. So we will have a login bonus that should be available to us. Again, they did do a commemoration login for the stream that unveiled it, giving them 14 quartz. We might get something like that here in a week or two for NA, but it's going to depend on what they choose to announce and how they choose to go about it, since this kind of already has now been announced via a little bit partially the NA anniversary, as well as kind of via the website and the news section. So we'll just have to see if they actually do a proper stream. I'm hopeful that they do, but again, that could be something where if you're counting on that amount of quartz, maybe don't count on it. We'll just have to see here in the future. Nocnaria will also have 2 times leveling experience rate, so definitely something you want to take advantage is get Nocnaria leveled during the event. With her being an extra class, though, not a whole lot we can do unless you have some all embers lying around, but this would be a good time, since there's half-cost ember gathering right now currently for the anniversary, to maybe stock up on some embers if you want to like prep yourself for either her or any of the gacha units that you might be rolling. Take a look at their classes, try to determine what you need, and get working on that preemptively. Pretty much for event bonus servants, almost all of the summer units are on rate up here, not rate up, but bonus for you. So you're going to get a whole lot of mileage out of using just about any summer unit, particularly the new ones. They're going to have a 50% or 100% damage bonus compared to the older ones, which are only going to have a 30% bonus as well. They will each also have bond bonuses. So again, the initial batch of new units, especially the SSRs and our new Welfare Nocnaria, will have a 50% bond bonus. The other new units and even the old units will have 20%, and then Mash herself will give 5% to all other party members for bond bonus if she's in the party. Like I said, the Dojin craft essences are really, really nice in regards to some of the artwork that they have available for them. I personally think that they're worth collecting just for that alone. Some of the artworks are just actually like cute and funny, and others are just like really cool looking and fantastic. And then we're also going to have our event Cs. Like we already mentioned, as thin as they narrow straight is going to be our event C. But then there's also going to be the ephemeral ones, which is going to essentially increase the Dojin circle materials for you. These are not the event shop materials. These are the Dojin circle ones, and this one should be permanently available for you guys through the actual event process, so don't worry too much about that, because again, you will get some of these via the missions. The ephemeral ones is at least an interesting one. It's all attack scaling, quick up of 15% and NP gen of 15%, as well as a critical star bomb when first entering the field. So there are certain applications that can be useful for that. Our command codes are going to include Wolf Maiden of the Sun here as our 5-star, which is going to have the engraved card's critical damage given an additional 30% when sunlight is on the battlefield, which is definitely going to be a really, really nice one, obviously, for units like Gawain that can bring the sun. But in general, anybody, if you feel like you're fighting on a node that could bring it. And then Pridwin's going to be the 4-star one here that is going to cause the engraved card to ignore defense buffs and gain 2 stars when attacking with it. So really, really another good one there. And then the 3-star one here, Sisterly Saintess Follower, which when engraved on an arts card, the engraved card's critical damage will get an additional 10%, and then 1 star when attacking. So for a 3-star, definitely not bad, particularly since it's arts card specific. We're always looking for some good ones that can work on some of those arts cards, since there's not a whole lot that are specific to them. Again, just a little bit of a preview of the map. Not everything is exactly as it is, and JP did have a live stream of their own. Looking at the event shop here, like we mentioned, there are going to be the 3 shop currencies, and there's also going to end up being the 3 sort of Dojin circle currencies, which, like I said, you're going to use those via the delivery quest for leveling up the Dojin circles, and you're going to get those either from some of the one-off quests that you'll do, or from basically just doing your normal free quests. Those will also give you an amount of them. Taking some of the event craft essences can also increase the drop rate of these items. But basically, for our normal shop currencies, the Alpond is going to be our 5-star CE. That's going to include the Popsicle, that is the sort of ascension material for Nocnaria there, as well as at least 2 copies of both of the event CEs. You're also going to end up having a Gawain, Oberon, and basically second Oberon version of their costumes if you manage to qualify for them and buy them out of the shop. So the Popsicle will unlock a quest, and then we'll also end up having Nocnaria's VVV stick here. That is going to be her sort of ascension item to get her leveled up. From there, we're also going to have the crystallized lore. We're going to end up having the Genesis eggs here. We're going to end up having seeds of Yggdrasil, or sorry, spirit roots. And then we're also going to end up having the ether photon converter, aka the D20s, as I like to call them. The obsidian edges, the LB7 knives, and then servant coins for Nocnaria, as well as evocation leaves. Now, you can certainly try to say like, hey, maybe I don't need to buy all these things, but to me, usually I say, hey, you know, even with something like evocation leaves, it can still be useful to your account. Just maybe leave it until last if you're worried about not being able to clear the shop in time. We do also have the gold statues and monuments here. We have gold foes, 1 copy of each, and then the command code removers, which are absolutely not worth purchasing. Do not purchase them if you ask me. And then just a general conversion of the material into QP. For the silver mat, we are going to have the Kona beans here. This is going to include 2 more copies of each of the CEs for the event. And then we're also going to have a costume for Lancelot Saber, as well as Scotty Ruler, getting another version for her. 1 more of the essential materials for Nocnaria, as well as another crystallized lore, some Talons of Chaos, some Primordial Lanugos, and some Phoenix Feathers, as well as even some Scales of Fantasy from LB6 there. From there, we're also going to get more Noc Naria coins here, and potentially even more evocation leaves, as well as some of the silver statues and monuments, which can definitely be good for you. To me, usually I go after the silver statues and monuments even more than the gold, because it can be harder to get some of the silvers unless you're actually like actively farming for them. And then also one more copy of the gold foe attack version, and then basically another command code remover, which you should absolutely skip. And then we get to the tropical nuts, the bronze sort of currency for the event, and we're going to have 2 more copies of each of the CEs here, and then a Tristan costume, as well as a Summer Kuro costume there, and 1 more essential material for Noc Naria, as well as some shells. Though remember, you will have a shell lotto later in the year, and you also have a shell ordeal call node, but the choice is yours. That could be an easy mat for some of you if you're really far ahead, but it is summer, so a lot of units do need shells. We're also going to have infinity gears, some permafrost ice crystals, some voids refused, aka dust, and also going to have even more servant coins, evocation leaves, 1 more copy of the gold HP foe, the normal 3-star foe copies, the 5, 4, and 3-star embers, of which of those I recommend probably turning the 3-star embers into instead probably something like mana prism, so I just burn them, but the choice is yours if you feel the need to use them efficiently. And then again, like we said, the 3 Dojin Circle currencies. The main quest is going to be how you guys are going to unlock the Mystic Code. You'll get it pretty much right away. And not to spoil too much for you guys, but you will be getting other things for Noc Naria in the main quest, as well as a grail at the end of everything, and sort of Noc Naria's one of her how should I put it, noble phantasm levels. The free quests, like I said, are going to be where you're going to spend the majority of your time, and they do grant you guys basically the sort of shop currencies as well as those Dojin currencies. And certainly just kind of looking at them here, we have like our level 90 node, which is going to probably be this 333 Berserker node here. Basically, this one's pretty standard. And we're going to also have on the ocean here, which is going to be our 90 plus, which is going to be a just sort of 2-wave node. It's going to be 3 Berserkers in the front wave, and then a 400k Kiara in the second wave. That, if you feel like grinding, it could be something that, again, taking and using like a ruler for could be really good for you guys there. You certainly have other good welfare ones like Ezo in the past. Sorry, not Ezo, EO, that have been really good, and definitely can be something that you guys can go for. But we also have a 90++ node. This one's going to be a little bit tougher. This is going to be one of those nodes where actually like Ace could be really good for you, as she can kind of waltz into this node and handle the front wave as a 311 all assassin node, and basically end up helping buff up somebody else to take out the latter 2 waves. This could work out really, really well for you if you manage to be somebody that already rolled. But there's other ways to handle this. You certainly don't have to use Ace. They just have to be someone that's strong enough to handle that front wave, because you do have a 120k Knight there in there, with some of the side ads being at about 90k there. But the 673k enemy in the middle wave and the 1.2 million enemy at the end are going to be a little bit spicy for a lot of people. So make sure you have a pretty robust single target that can take them out. This will also be another one where using like Zerctoria or someone like that could do wonders for you. So keep in mind, you have damage bonus, you have means of which you can actually kind of amplify things and go with different options that could help you out. So try to take advantage of that. Try to get everything you can out of this event in terms of efficiency, in terms of being able to clear it, because usually these summer events are at least decently lucrative for us, even from just a shop standpoint. Then again, we have the 6 different Dojin circles that we have. One of them, Yoroshiku Mount Liang, is going to give quick up. Hatoria is going to be basically the arts up, and the Chaldea Game Club is going to be the star generation rate up. Bishonen is going to be the critical damage up circle, and the Pleasant School Infirmary is going to be the buster up circle. And then Fairy Kingdom Chaldea will also be the NP damage up circle. So depending on what you want to do, you might, like, if you feel that you're using predominantly one unit to like farm your way through, you might want to prioritize one of these circles. Do so again with the full disclosure that you will just be advancing that circle faster and you will just get better buffs by doing that. So there's no problem with it. Now, looking at the mission lists here, we're not going to spend too long on this, but we do have obviously delivery quests that we have to clear, which are going to be what levels up the again Dojin circles and gets you the additional buffs and unlocks. This is also going to grant you guys copies of the CEs, and then basically we're also going to have kind of completing Dojin circle quests basically that they give you after you've leveled them up for additional ones, and you'll see that for a couple of them being there. And then you'll also have missions for obtaining the various currencies in decent amounts. It should be retroactive, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. And then also ascending Nocnaria as well as bonding her up will be there, and then clearing 10 quests. So remember, worst case scenario, make sure you have her even in something like the back line. As long as you're doing that, you should be fine. Make sure you're leveling and bonding your welfare and taking them to some of the nodes. And if you complete all the missions, you're also going to end up getting a crystallized lore. So make sure you guys are on top of that. As far as the challenge quest here, there is a decent one for this one. This one is going to end up having a whole lot going on in it. It's going to give you another crystallized lore. So you can see this is where they start getting a little bit more complex with some of our challenge quests. Realistically speaking, shouldn't be too bad here, but keep in mind the main goal here is to eliminate the chairman of the normalization committee, basically Nocnaria. And we're also going to have issues with kind of all the effects at play from this, because again, this is something that they like to do to us a lot in summer quests. We get the sort of how should I put it, servant gauntlet style of quests. So it's definitely something that that you can run into where you get bogged down in some of the additional effects. But you can see here, basically, if you actually just manage to eliminate all Artoria servants from the battle, the chairman will remove her stun debuff and defense buff at the start of engaging in battle from there. So that's something that you can do. You could also try to just brute force this node and instead have out your strongest servant and start stacking up some powerful buffs to bypass the defense and immediately break her gauge. But just keep in mind that the latter method will cause her to engage in battle with the worst possible buff to boot. She will have her NP fully charged every turn, and she will keep maxing it out for NP spamming attacks. She will also give herself 2 stacks of guts, so tread carefully if you want to follow this method. That's just me basically reading off the fandom with their little snippet there. So again, that's them warning you, don't necessarily try to brute force this. If you just take this simple and slow, you can make it a whole lot easier on yourself. But if you're up for the challenge, go ahead, go for the brutal brute force method, and let me know what your results were. I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So from there, we also have the summoning campaigns, and there's a whole lot in this one. We are going to have 5 different summoning campaigns, 2 female campaigns, and 2 male campaigns, with the summer 2022 rerun banner sort of coming back as well. So for our first summoning campaign, this is going to debut with the event. This is going to be Artoria Caster Berserker, aka Zerktoria, aka Bakatoria, as some people like to call her. But this is basically going to be one of the game's sort of most vaunted single target berserkers at this point. A lot of people have been waiting for her all year. She is a big one. I do recommend everybody kind of at least considering to roll on this banner. She's not a unit you have to have, but she is a unit that is so disgustingly strong at this point in the game that she really will just make your life easier for a lot of stuff, including that 90++ node that we were just mentioning. So there are obvious reasons to kind of roll for her. She's fantastic at just boss killing and also general purpose high health enemy farming. You're also going to have Suzuka Gozen here, who is a quick AoE writer. She's super effective against Earth. She is a Black Grail looper, just giving you a bit of a TLDR. And she does have the capability of hitting quite hard in the right set of circumstances, though she will be a little bit dependent on the number of enemies per wave. And then you have Kuro Avenger, and as a lot of people kind of know at this point, Kuro has a system unto her own where she can basically allow enemies to, kind of like with Salter's recent buff, charge their Noble Phantasm per number of enemies hit. But this comes in the way of her manuscript buff. She has to be around to redeem that in order to give them charge, and then that will give them that extra additional benefit. She can also rotate herself to the back with her gut skill, so that's something to pay attention to, but there is some clunkiness to this system. The system does open up additional damage capabilities and being able to start from a 0% starting charge standpoint for a couple of units as well. So a lot of people should pay attention to this just for its simple damage amplification and party capabilities. But even still, Kuro is still a pretty decent single target quick Avenger and can do quite a bit of damage output on her own. Our second campaign here is going to be the first male one. This is going to be Oberon, Gawain, Lancelot, and Tristan. I'm not going to go over the units as most of these are older units at this point for a lot of people. Oberon is a fantastic meta support. He's the highest damage amplifier support generically in the game right now, and he basically is the game's only 70% charging support in that regard as well. So there's a whole lot of reasons to roll for Oberon if you haven't already. He can absolutely help out your account in droves if you manage to acquire him. Each of these units will be getting a costume for the event. They're also damage bonus units, so again, feel free to go after them if you want. Our second summoning campaign is going to end up having Melisande ruler here. She's a fantastically hard-hitting AoE arts ruler. She has 80% charge. She doesn't have the gimmick that her Lancer form does have with the ability to swap between different NP types, but she does at least have, again, a whole lot of charge and a whole lot of damage capacity. Really, to this point, she is one of the game's hardest hitting rulers, really only challenged by Karen, and now a little bit thanks to buffs, also Moriarty as another AoE arts ruler. So she does have some competition out there, but she is a really, really good pickup for a lot of people. We also have Kate Ku Sir Priestess, aka Balbon Sis 4-star form. This is going to be a 4-star AoE Buster Pretender. She's got some wonkiness to her kit, but her damage is certainly pretty decent, and you do have the capability of charging her up and making her work in a conventional Koyanskaya setup. So I can definitely say she could be a decent option for you if you're looking for another AoE Pretender to kind of help stack your deck a little bit. And we do also have UDK Barcast. Now, ironically enough, Barcast as a single target arts archer did manage to get the capacity that original Melisande did, which is the ability to switch between NP types. She can be either single target or AoE, and she can switch back and forth sort of at will. So it is a nicer thing for her, but unfortunately for that, while she can do okay damage output, they basically ended up gimping her NP gain in a lot of those scenarios, so you're going to have to really try difficultly and hardly to get her charged and kind of taken care of. Pay a whole lot of attention to her. Try to brute force her charge as much as you can if you're trying to kind of prioritize her. Because I think a lot of people, this is one of those units where they're maybe going to get a little bit blindsided by their love of the character. She can be a bit clunky to use. So unfortunately, she's not the best unit out there, but you still can use her effectively if you do manage to play your cards right. So again, go check out the videos that I have out on her, as well as several of these other units, and it should kind of enlighten you a little bit more on the subject. Our second male banner should end up being Tezcatlipoca. It'll be his return as he'll finally be coming back from LB7. And then the summer rerun banner will literally have all of the units that were on right up there rotating through in each of their own banners. So definitely nice. Now, as for the timing of these banners, like I said, the Castoria banner should be out immediately day one, as well as the male banner with Oberon. The second female banner will come about 4 to 5-ish days after that. Same thing here with Tez coming about a week after launch. And then the summer rerun banners will start roughly about 2 weeks into the event. So just keep that in mind as well. We do also have some craft essences on rate up for this event, including Dazzling Moon, which is a really good one for the female banners. This one is all attack scaling, has overcharge, buster up, and critical stars per turn. It's not the most meta CE, but it's certainly a viable CE and a decent option for leveling up. Cactus City is a 4-star with split stats, so not one we'd care too much about leveling, but does give charge per turn, quick up, and NP gen. And Over the Rough Waves here is our 3-star that's all HP scaling. It does give evasion for 1 attack and arts and buster up of 2%. Not too much to write home, but a little bit of hard survivability there baked into that CE. And for the male banners, we will have Summer Break, which is another all attack scaling 5-star CE. This one is defense ignoring and buster up and NP damage. This one can be really meta if you need defense ignore on a buster unit. And Rounds of the Beach as well. This one's going to be our 4-star split stat one. It's going to be arts and buster up and critical stars per turn. And our 3-star in sickness and health will also have the NP generation rate up of 5% and debuff resistance of 5%. Other than that, the only other one worth mentioning is that the Summer 2022 rerun banner will have the old CEs from those events. Of them, particularly Twin Tail can certainly be really nice for its NP overcharge, crit damage, and buster up, and all attack scaling, as well as Infinity Blue is going to be the 5-star for the male side, but this one's not too much, other than to say it has NP damage, NP gen, and invincibility 2 times. Probably not one you want to level in that category. So again, that is the run through of the entire summer event. I know this one was a little bit longer, but there's a whole lot going on in this one. It still sounds confusing. Basically, do main story to unlock new nodes, do new nodes to get the shop currency for CEs, as well as the Dojin currency for delivery quests. If you turn in the delivery quest, that will level up the Dojins and get you additional buffs, as well as unlocking one-off quests for you to unlock certain craft essences that are just kind of commemorative for the event. And you'll also have missions that you need to get done during the event. That's it. That's all you got to do, and then kind of clear the shop. So let me know what you guys thought about the upcoming summer event, what you're excited for, which Dojin circle you think you'll be going with first, and which unit is your priority to roll from these summer banners. I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys for the next one. Hey, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, right? Yeah. Ah!